Was that a fever dream? What a good book. I can't do it anymore. Oh no. Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to the Roomies Digest. My name's Christine, and if you clicked on this video, you know that you're in for the October round of Battle of the Books. Now, if you don't know what Battle of the Books is, first of all, I have a whole playlist of all the videos from this year starting in January. But second of all, Battle of the Books is this fun little competition that I've concocted where I essentially ask a creator from BookTok, Bookstagram, and BookTube to recommend me a book, usually from a certain genre per month, just to make the playing field very level for the players. During the month, I read the creator's books and then decide via the call method at the end of the month which book is officially the best book of the month. The book with the highest score is the winner, and they essentially get a point for their platform. At the end of the year, the platform with the most points is officially the platform that's recommended the best books of 2023. At least to me. Now, if you guys are interested in the call pile method, I will say that all of that information is linked down below. It was created by Book Roast, and it is basically a very in-depth look at why I rate books the way that I rate them. So here are the current rankings for our competition. Officially, Instagram is in the lead, but not by far. There's still time for the other platforms to catch up or win the entire year. But I fear that the more we get into these last 3 months of the year, the more we'll have a better grasp on like who's actually going to win this competition. So I would love for it to be neck and neck the whole time, but somebody's gotta win. So I'm very excited to introduce our creators for this month. If you guys haven't gathered from the title of this video, we're officially doing Spooky Recs. I'm not traditionally a spooky reader, as in horror, but I do like a good thriller. So I have given our creators this month full reign to pick any spooky book ever. You can do horror, you can do thrillers, you can do whatever, as long as it's in the vein of October, okay? And I swear, guys, I have a shirt that has like skeletons on it. It's like perfect for October. I could not find it, but I will find it by the end of this vlog. Mark my words. Anyway, I've given the creators that as the genre, so I'm very, very excited to introduce all of our fun creators this month. I hope you guys are excited, so let's go ahead and get into it, the video. Bum, bum, da 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 da, bum, bum, da. So our first creator today is officially going to be representing Instagram. I have followed her for forever, and I just really love her Instagram feed. Like, she takes such care and like thought into her posts. Like, she truly is one of those creators that doesn't just like post like what they're doing or like what they're reading. Like, she really puts a lot of thought and effort into her whole entire page. And so I've always admired her for that, and I love everything that she creates. So I thought she would be a perfect pick for this month, okay? And her name is Robin from Cozy in the Nook. Now, Robin definitely shares like the same taste as me as far as fantasy goes, but Robin does read a little bit more, I think, horror and thrillers than me. So I think if, you know, I had to guess, I would say that she would do something that's kind of like fantasy horror. You know, what is that? I have no idea. I don't know what that book pick could be. So we're just gonna go ahead and get into her video. Let's be surprised together.
Hi, Christine. I am so excited to be here. Thank you for having me, and I am so stoked to give you a spooky recommendation. It is now October 1st, and so perfect way to start spooky season, right? And I went through your list of books that you read, and obviously I already knew that you're a huge Kat Ward fan, and her books are pretty spooky. I would say less horror, more thriller. But that gave me a really good baseline to know what kind of horror and or spookiness that you liked. And I also know that you really like space horror. So you're down with something like a little paranormal. You don't need like a big like explanation with a bow on top of it at the end. And I love that. I love that. So my recommendation for you is going to be a book that I think deserves justice. It has a pretty low rating on Goodreads, and I think that is completely undeserved. A lot of people read it a few years ago, and I think they went into it with different expectations than what they got. I think, personally, it is a fantastic representation of the Gothic tradition. What that means, for those who don't know, are, you know, this idea of like a manor or some kind of home. There are mysteries and secrets. There may be some paranormal element to it. And it's just like layers on layers, and it's a slow burn. And it's a creeping feeling. It's the idea of malevolent spirits. And I just really, really liked this book. And I want more people to love it and understand like what an amazing, amazing homage to the Gothic tradition it is. So that book is The Death of Jane Lawrence by Caitlin Starling. And first of all, this cover, right? This cover is phenomenal. And the book itself is just so good. And I like stayed up really late reading it. You know, I just like couldn't put it down, and I just had to know what happens next. Okay, it was very exciting. It goes all over the place. There are some things that I thought were just so incredibly creative, and it's everything I love in reading a spooky book. And I still think about it all the time. So I hope that you love this book as much as I did. And if not, obviously, cool, but hopefully I'm here to win. And I think that the kind of suspense and terror and spookiness that this book brings is something that was akin to the books that you also enjoyed in a similar genre. So I hope you love it as much as I do.
Okay, do you guys see what I mean? Like, Robin matched the book cover to the aesthetic of this video. Does that make sense? Like the little hand and like the candle. Like, Robin, you are the aesthetics queen, I swear. Every single person from Instagram this whole entire year has been that. Okay, anyway, I'm so excited because I remember hearing about this book years ago, and I had wanted to read it, but I wasn't really into thrillers. I wasn't really into like horror. I wasn't really reading that. I was just kind of a fantasy girly. So now's my chance. I don't know anything about it. I mean, like, obviously there's like some kind of haunted house element, a mystery. It sounds like all the things that I would really love. So Robin took a lot of care with this recommendation. I think that's such a good one, so I'm so excited. I can't wait to get into it. Let's go ahead and get into our next creator. I'm so excited to talk about this creator because she is new to me, and I feel like just deserves to have some light shed on her. She's gonna be representing Book Talk, and I feel like her vibe is just like spooky books. Like, I look at her page on Book Talk and I'm like, yes, this is our girl. Okay, she's got like recommendations for thriller books, spooky books, into all the aesthetic of like the vibes of October. So I'm so excited to introduce to you Sydney from Sydney Books. I truly have no idea what Sydney is going to recommend. I feel like she reads quite a few in this genre, in this vein. So it could literally be anything. Like I've said to you guys, I am not well versed in this genre. I only read a little bit of like thrillers. So I'm excited to see what she is gonna recommend me because we truly don't know each other like at all. She's a wild card. So let's go ahead and get into her video.
Hey Christine, first I just want to say thank you for asking me to be a part of this series. I absolutely love this idea, and I am so honored to be representing Book Talk for spooky season. My recommendation will probably come as no surprise to anyone who's ever followed me. This author can do no wrong in my eyes. I've loved everything I've read from her, so when I saw it on your physical TBR list, it was no question. The book is The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. This book made me fall in love with like the supernatural thriller genre, which is why I think it'll be perfect for this. It's definitely spooky, but not too spooky. I would almost even call it like cozy horror. It essentially follows two women. One is a true crime journalist named Shay who gets an opportunity to interview a prolific alleged female serial killer. But the catch is the only way she'll do the interview is if Shay agrees to come to her home, which happens to be this creepy old mansion where she's been isolated for the past like 40 years. Listen, it's got atmosphere. It's got a decade-spanning murder mystery and a supernatural element to it that, in my opinion, makes it the perfect October read, and I really hope you like it.
Oh my God. Okay, I remember having this from Book of the Month years ago. It's on the shelf. Definitely part of my physical TBR, so thank you, Sydney, for that. I'm so excited. It seems like it's kind of the same like vibes as, I want to say the Jennifer Lawrence, but it's Jane Lawrence as the book from Robin. So you guys are really taking a lot of time and care into these recs, and I really love it. I can't wait. Oh my God. Okay, I thought I was gonna have like horror books, and I thought I was gonna be like, I can't do it anymore. But this is looking great. I'm so excited. So our final creator is a good buddy of mine, but our tastes almost never align. I think we have aligned on one book, you know, from Recall here, and I think it's The Cruel Prince. I hope I'm not saying that and it's wrong. But I love her dearly, and I truly think that like this is a great example of how you can have friends that have completely different tastes than you, but you guys can still be friends and like be polite to each other and like not trash each other's tastes. I'm just so excited because I feel like she's gonna give me something really, really, really good. So let me go ahead and introduce to you guys. Okay, so representing YouTube is gonna be Jan from Jan Agaton, my good buddy and pal. I'm so excited. I feel like she is spooky incarnate. You guys, if you follow her on Instagram or even like obviously on her channel, her whole entire vibe is just Spooksville, okay? And I love it. She's always reading like some kind of crazy spooky horror, like Uzumaki-esque type of book, and I feel like she's always up on like what is spooky, what is October, you know what I mean? Like just all her vibes. So if you guys aren't following her on YouTube or Instagram, highly recommend if you're into like that kind of like vibe aesthetic, because there are, I know some people who are literally like spooky all the time. That is Miss Jan Agaton in like the best way possible. So I'm super excited. I feel like for her, because we don't have the same taste, I feel like she's probably just gonna pick something that she really likes and will try and see if I like it too. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be like a traditional horror. So like I'm thinking like in the vein of like My Best Friend's Exorcism, possibly a Riley Sager, something like that. Not necessarily that like Riley Sager is horror, but like something kind of like that. Does that make sense? I don't know what that book is gonna be, but I'm excited to find out. So let's go ahead and watch her video.
What's up, Christine? It's Jan, back at it with a second recording of this because I'm an idiot who deleted it from Google Drive, most likely. If you hear clicking and clacking, Joey's playing video games right behind me, sorry. Oh. But here's my recommendation. Thank you so much for picking me, choosing me to do this for you. I'm so excited to watch this video. Anyway, here's a recommendation. Of course I'm gonna hit you with Mayfly. Horror book. It's kind of extreme horror technically, but it's more like mainstream, I guess. And there's also a little bit of a hockey romance, so you might actually like it. But there are some messed up scenes, so good luck. It's definitely on my top 10 of the year. Spoiler alert for my end of the year content, but yes, hope you like it. I'm so excited to hear your thoughts. Love you, bye.
Y'all, I remember seeing this in the bookstore and I was like, ooh, I kind of want to read this, but like I didn't pick it up because it seems so like the cover. The cover. Oh my God, I'm such a weenie. Of course Jan would give me something like this. I knew it. It's gonna have some crazy like scenes or something psycho. At least it's not rats like that other book. But I can't. I'm so happy that this is the rec because I have actually been wanting to read this one like randomly. I remember going to the bookstore with Monique and Steph and being like, this book looks interesting. What do we think? And I definitely have talked about this book on Sprints before. I want to say it's like a not Cinderella. Oh my God. Isn't it like the person works at Disneyland and it's like a tell-all or something? It's not Disney obviously in the book, but I think it's something like that. Anyway, we'll get into it in the like major portion of this video, but wow, I cannot wait. I think all of these books are gonna be so much fun. Wow, what a fun month. Okay, let's get into the spooky season. Are we ready? Okay, so that is the intro to this vlog. Great recommendations. We have an all-star cast here, and I'm so excited to get into the meat of this. So what am I gonna do? I think, honestly, I have a few errands to run today, so I think I'm gonna try and find one of them on audio. I don't own Maeve Fly or the Jane Lawrence, so I'll try and find one of those on audio, and then I will check in with you guys in a little bit. I'm so excited. Okay, let's get into the video. I haven't done this in so long. I'm here again. So I got to 50% of The Death of Jane Lawrence, and I have to say I was obsessed with this book in the first 50. Like, I was super obsessed with Jane Lawrence, with her and her husband, like their relationship. I was like, oh great, we're gonna get into a haunted house situation. Great. We interrupt this program to bring you magic, and I don't know how I feel about it. They're experimenting with the dark arts in this book, and I'm imagining, like, what time period do I think this is? Like 1800s London, even though it's not London per se, but it's London-esque. Okay, they've got carriages, you know, they've got these doctors who think a woman having a career is crazy, you know. It's giving women's suffrage, not. Anyway, oh my gosh, Sherman, really? Anywho, lay down, please. Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, so that's what it's giving. And I was super obsessed with this up until the point where our main love interest, Dr. Lawrence, started acting cuckoo bananas, okay? He started acting cuckoo bananas. He left her there to basically be, you know, sacrifice. Not really, like, this isn't actually any of the plot, guys, but Sherman, really? So sorry if this seems rambly. I'm not giving away spoilers, but at first I was like, why do people rate this so low? Now I'm like, this better turn around real quick. This better turn around real quick, because I was obsessed with this book in the first 25 to like 40%. And then it started going downhill, I swear, when we started talking about divination and all kinds of stuff like that. I don't know. It's not that I don't like that stuff. It's just not where I thought it was going. I haven't given up hope yet, but I will say that I am done with the audiobook for today, because like I can't take it anymore. Not really. I just like did a bunch of errands and like, you know, whatever. Did the whole thing. I'm tired. Look at me. Anyway, I'm not making any sense except to tell you guys that I'm gonna start this book right now. I went by Skylight and I picked this one up. I'm actually surprised at how thin it is. Like, this is the one thing I'll tell you about horror thrillers. They are not very long books. This is a 200 and, oh my god, and 72 page book. That's basically a novella, if you're talking to me. You know, it's giving Grady Hendrix, which is so funny. I just saw on the front of here, it's actually blurbed by Grady Hendrix. That's what it's giving to me right now. I can't say, I think I said that in the intro. I was like, I feel like it's giving, no, I said, that's what I said. I said Jan is going to give me something like My Best Friend's Exorcism. I think that's exactly what she gave me. So I wanted to read like the front little flap to you guys, because I really had no idea what this was about. Not no idea, but I don't know what it is about. Okay, so let's just read this. By day, Maeve Fly works at the happiest place in the world as every child's favorite ice princess. Okay, by the neon glow of the Sunset Strip, Maeve haunts the dive bars with a drink in one hand and a book in the other, imitating her misanthropic literary heroes. But when Gideon Green, her best friend's brother, moves to town, he awakens something dangerous within her, and the world she knows suddenly shifts beneath her feet. Untethered, Maeve ditches her discontented act and tries on a new persona, a bolder, bloodier one inspired by the pages of American Psycho. Oh no! Step aside, Patrick Bateman. It's Maeve's turn with the knife. Mayfly is a provocative and unforgettable debut that is both a blood-soaked love letter to LA and a gleeful send-up of iconic horror villains. Not it being set in LA. That is so fun, Jan. Did you do that on purpose, you little freak? Ah! This is actually giving me an idea here for my Halloween costume. So, Patrick Bateman, American Psycho. I read that book with Monique this year because we were doing our movie night book club, and I'm gonna say it, I did not like that book, and for obvious reasons. You know, he's a horrible human being, like a bigot, racist, just horrible human. He's misogynistic, he kills people, he's an American Psycho. I get what they're saying. She's essentially gonna start killing people. She's gone off the edge. Okay, she's gone off the ledge. So interesting that there's also gonna have like a tiny little romance, like a romantic plot in this one. I hope I like it more than American Psycho, because I think I DNF'd that book. I hated that book so much. I had this idea. It was to dress up for Halloween as my most hated book of the year. Like a character, and obviously it would be Patrick Bateman. I think I'm gonna do that for Halloween. If I go through with that, I will circle back and I'll show you guys what that outfit looks like. But right now I'm like, that's a great idea. That's a big brain. It's a big brain idea. Me and Sherm are gonna start this. I love this cover. I know it's like literally psychotic looking, but I love it. Anyway, okay, let's hit it, y'all. Okay, party people, I finished her. It took literally one evening to finish this book. I almost read it all in one sitting because I started it last night at like 8:30 and I read for like 4 hours. I think I got to page like 190 something, and there's only 260 pages. So I got to a point where it was about to go into like a whole nother act, if that makes sense. And I was like, let me just put this book down now because it's 12:30 and I'm gonna be tired tomorrow. Okay, so I literally just got up this morning and I finished her, and I am pleasantly surprised with this book. Like I wouldn't say surprised, because I did want to read it and I was interested in it. I just didn't know what it was gonna be like, but it was so good. Like basically just like a love letter to LA, while also having like the horror elements of this character that, plot twist, I did like much more than Patrick Bateman, okay? So this character that almost was giving like Psycho vibes, like if you guys have seen that movie. If you haven't seen that movie, this is gonna be a spoiler, so just skip like 30 seconds forward. But essentially in Psycho, you find out that oh my god, there's a circling helicopter, so I apologize for the noise, guys, but I'm just gonna go through it. So essentially in Psycho, you realize that like our main character, he is a psycho. Like he literally has imagined that his mother is alive the whole entire time. And you find out at the end of the movie that he's like dressing like his mother, like he has taken on her persona because he is not well in the head, okay? So Maeve, like this is not a plot twist, plot reveal or anything, because you know from the beginning of the book that she's crazy. So I'm not revealing any of that, but she does have a moment where she like is taking on other personas, and that like it really like reminded me of Psycho. I was like, ooh, this is giving old horror, like old, because like I know now if you watch Psycho it doesn't seem like it's that much of a horror because it's such an old movie, but that was giving like these vibes and I really loved it. Obviously Patrick Bateman, like she was so against just like everything about like people in general. She was so crazy, but I kind of love Maeve. Like she's psycho. I will say that like the end of this, I did not see that coming. That was crazy. But like I kind of felt something happening during the book, but I was like, no, that's like, I'm like wishful thinking. But then, of course, in the end, you know, it is what it is. Sad and tragic, and I mean, it does not end happy, guys. It does not end happy, but I really like this one. Like, wow, this was such a good one. Plus, I loved also the, like, nod to Disney. Like, obviously, they don't say anything in Disney, but, like, she is Elsa from Frozen. That is her job in this book. Like, she plays that princess at Disneyland. So I thought it was done super, super well. It's giving Grady Hendrix. It's giving Psycho, the movie. It's giving American Psycho, the book and the movie. Like, what else is it giving? I mean, it's giving, like, light horror, like, light bodily harm. It's not anything too crazy, okay? I feel like this was exactly the type of horror that I needed. It wasn't, like, too gruesome, and almost like a revenge plot horror, which I have found that I like books that have revenge plots in general. It doesn't have to be a revenge plot horror. I talk about it all the time. I'll talk about it again. Razor Blade Tears, okay? One of my favorite revenge plot thrillers. I just love that book so much. There's something about, like, sticking it in a revenge plot that, like, I really enjoy. I think that's all that I can say about this book. Like, it just is so, it was so good. I can't wait to get into the call pile for this one. Ah! Excellent pick, Jan. Thank you so much for this one. Okay, so I finished Maeve. So I'm going to continue on with the audiobook of Jane Lawrence. We're going to see what happens with Janie, okay? We're going to see what happens with Janie. Hopefully it ends up on a good note. I mean, I have the day off today, so essentially I'm just going to be doing stuff around the house. Now that this book has been done, like, we finished this book, I think I am going to be Patrick Bateman for Halloween. So I'm going to be picking out, I think, my Halloween costume. I'm doing, like, a little Amazon searchy search for that. So if I have time, I'll take you guys through that. But yeah, I got some inspo earlier from, like, Pinterest. Of course I did. Who am I? So I'll be doing that today, ordering that today. And yeah, hopefully checking in again about Jane Lawrence. We'll see. We'll see where the wind takes us. But wow, what a good book. Okay. I'm gonna be thinking about that one for a while. I feel like even from the first page, that one was like, I was like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. Anyway, okay. I'll see you guys in a little bit. So I owe you guys check in. First and foremost, let's talk about the 50% of the Book of Cold Cases. Is this focused, y'all? I feel like I look crazy. This is not the best lighting. I'm gonna admit that, but it's late. What can I say? So for the Book of Cold Cases, this book, I feel like it's not what I thought that it was gonna be. Like, I thought I was going into this kind of like serial killer, boring documentary type book, and we were gonna be interviewing like this decrepit old, like 80-year-old woman who's like a little senile, and it's like very like she's about to kill us kind of vibes. What I in fact have found is that the Book of Cold Cases is a pleasant surprise, okay? First of all, our serial killer, alleged, our alleged serial killer, Beth Greer, is like so smart and lucid and like has so much more going on for her than meets the eye. I feel like she's just such an interesting character while not doing much. Okay, does that make sense? I don't know, hopefully, but here he is. Okay, I basically had to like move the camera because Sherman like had to sit in my lap. So he's sitting in my lap. We're sitting here. Okay, carrying on. So anyway, this book is really interesting. Where even was I? Oh my god, where was I, Sherman? Where was I? Oh, I was talking about Beth Greer. Okay. Beth Greer is such an interesting character, while also, like, on the other side of this, there is another character named Shay, who is like our main character. It's like her blog that we are following. It's called The Book of Cold Cases. She runs down all these cold cases online, you know, very, very like Tumblr 2000 and freaking 4 or something esque. So anyway, Shay's interesting because she's got some trauma that's happened to her in the past that like we don't know anything about, other than it was some kind of like assault, I want to say. Like something happened, and it happened in a car, and now she doesn't ride in cars, so like that's her thing. Okay, so she is trying to, as a hobby, write these cold case like files for her blog, and she comes across Beth Greer randomly one day, and she's like, oh my god, this will be so much fun to like interview her and figure out what, you know, she's all about. Like, did she actually kill these people? Let's try and find out and solve the cold case. So that's the premise of this book, and it's told in like a couple different timelines. Basically Beth's past and Beth's POV, and then Shay's POV in the future and Beth's POV in the future. It's interesting because Beth is seen as like this serial killer, even though in this town she's only killed like 2 people, allegedly, whatever. But I'm telling y'all right now, Miss Beth Greer did not kill these people. Like, this isn't a spoiler because I don't know if this is true, and I won't tell y'all if it is in the end. But like, I am telling y'all right here, right now, Beth Greer did not kill these men, these 2 men. Okay, she didn't do it. Something else is happening in this book, and I don't know what that other thing is yet. Hopefully it's gonna come through in the end and circle back. But like, that's like the one thing that I know about this book. We're also having like some kind of like paranormal thing happening in this book, and it's really interesting because I'm going to talk about Jane Lawrence in just a second. But like, the paranormal aspect, like I'm like, is this witchcraft? Is it ghosts? Like, what's happening? But there's something going on with the house that Beth Greer lives in. And when Shay goes to do the interview with Beth, she literally is like walking back in time, where she walks into this house, nothing has changed. Beth Greer still has like her mom's clothes from 40 years ago. Like, she still has her, like, her dad's ashtray. Like, she hasn't gotten rid of anything. And that's giving red flag to me. That just seems a little weird. I mean, as much as you love mementos and like things like that, like keeping basically this like mausoleum of your parents' stuff from like back in the day, like that's just giving crazy. So Beth Greer might not have killed these 2 men, but she's definitely got something going on here, and I can't tell y'all why. I can't tell y'all why she hasn't killed these men, because apparently she's been seen at the crime, at one of the crimes. She's been seen at the scene of the crime, you know, and I can't really explain that. Like, I don't know if somebody put a wig on and they looked like her. Like, I don't know. I can't tell y'all, and I won't be able to tell y'all until the end, but it's very interesting. I don't really like cold cases. Usually, like, the documentaries and stuff, I'm like not really a big fan of. So it's interesting that like I'm enjoying this so much. We'll see. I feel like it's just gonna pick up more and more like as we go further and further into the plot. So that's my check-in for the Book of Cold Cases. I'm having a good time with that. I like a mystery. I like to try and solve a plot, okay? Y'all know how I am. So that's that. I finished Jane Lawrence, and I can understand why people might be a little put off by this book. It depends on like what they were expecting. For me, I was expecting 0. Like, I was expecting nothing. You know what I mean? I feel like I had a really good time with this one, even though half the time I was a little confused. And that whole final part, I was like, bro, what are we experiencing right now? It low-key reminds me of the movie Talk to Me, and like the end of that movie. If you've ever seen that and you've read this book, you'll get exactly what I'm saying. If you haven't, I don't want to spoil it and tell you literally anything. But the end of this book, I was like, what the hell is going on? So yeah, I think it just depends on like what you were expecting from it. I think like some of the character work here like went a little wonky. I'm not sure if I was like totally 100% in love with it, but I do love Jane Lawrence. Like, I like her. And even though she seemingly went down this rabbit hole of insanity, like, I still somehow liked her character. I thought she was really determined and very loyal and just like was very about the facts. Like, this girl starts off this book and she is just trying to find a husband, you know what I mean? Like, she's just trying to find a husband, and she's going through the motions, and then suddenly stumbles upon this guy that she actually really likes. And I don't even know if I mentioned this, but like, the fact that she's taller than this man, and it's like 1800s London, like, that's a power move. That is a power move right there. Thank you, Jane Lawrence. So anyway, but yeah, I feel like with this book, it was trying to do a lot of things. And so if you went into it with certain expectations of like what you thought it was going to be, I can see why people would rate this down. Like, I get what Robin was saying, because I just think it's like basically a haunted house that also has cult vibes. It's got witchy vibes. It's like, what are you trying to be? You know what I mean? Like, what is the plot of the movie? Or like, really the themes? Like, what is the genre of the movie? Because we're not getting it. Loki, I feel like it's all of them. But yeah, like, it's not just like one thing. So I think it really depends on like what you wanted to get from it. And then this, like, the final bit of it, like, obviously I can't really say anything about the plot. But like, the final bit of it, I feel like, is really like a thinker. Like, it makes you kind of like contemplate what happened and like what the truth is, and kind of like what Jade experienced. I think the title of this book is very telling, like The Death of Jane Lawrence. If you go in thinking that, you know, she's gonna stay alive, like, I went in thinking that we were gonna be getting the story of Jane's death, like the ending part of her life, right? So I think maybe because I had that expectation, I think that's all I can say about Jane Lawrence. Like, I really like the atmosphere in this one. I like the characters. I thought the plot was interesting. Is it like my favorite plot of all time? No, but I thought it was great for like what it was. Hopefully that gives you some insight. I don't know. But yeah, okay, so I am gonna be finishing up the Book of Cold Cases, I think tonight. I probably won't check in again until tomorrow morning, and we'll do like our wrap up with the call pile. But I'm thinking that because this book is not that long. Where is she? This book is not that long. Like, I feel like I'm gonna wrap it up tonight. So that's my plan. And I actually did end up going and getting all of my like Halloween like costume stuff. Yes, I did buy it all off of Amazon. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. But I'm really excited because I'm about to be Patrick freaking Bateman for Halloween, and I feel like it's such a fun like idea. Like, I got the idea off of Pinterest because of like a couple of Pinterest pictures that I saw, and I was like, ooh, I can totally do this. And I've been wanting to get like these new Oxfords for a minute just because like I like that style of shoe. So I ended up picking out like a few pieces that I think will be really freaking fun for Halloween. And I think like with my next check-in, I don't think I'll be able to like, I don't think I'll obviously have like a vlog clip of Halloween or like anything like that, because that'll be like after I'm done with this vlog, if that makes sense. But I will post here somewhere what that fit looks like. And yeah, I'm just like really loving the details in this one. My vision is I'm essentially gonna like spray like fake blood like onto my face and have it kind of like drip down and have it, you know, kind of be like, you know, Patrick Bateman just killed somebody, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really excited for this Halloween idea. I'm flying with the, you know, dressing as the worst book of 2023. I feel like it's warranted. I feel like it's granted. And yeah, I mean, if I had like really thought this through, I would have done Maeve Fly. But I don't think anyone would get that Halloween costume. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wouldn't be, that's, oh wait, hold on. That's not me saying that Maeve Fly was like a bad book. Wait a minute. Let me go back. That's not what I'm saying. I just think that that would be funny to dress up as Elsa and be like bloody and crazy. Yeah, this took a turn. This is not where I wanted to go with this part. But anyway, hopefully the outfit turns out well. I'm going to continue reading and I'll check in with you guys in a little bit.
You know I am that kid.
We're really excited.
On behalf of the staff of the Sheraton Grand Los Angeles, I would like to welcome you to our property. Please enjoy this treat from us. If you need anything, please let us know. Wishing you a relaxing and productive stay.
So we are doing something a little different with the B-roll for this month. I had this idea to kind of show you what we had been working on throughout the month, what we've been doing, and do a little bit of a voiceover. Of course, you guys know we already went to the Reese's Book Club times the Sheraton Hotel event in Los Angeles. We did a little reel about it, but probably the best part is that we got to meet one of our good bookish friends in real life, Hannah, the paperback bruncher. She is literally the sweetest little thing, and it was so much fun to do this with her.
From scratch. Oh, can I take one of these or fuck it right? Just kidding.
And then you say a soft pretzel.
A soft pretzel stick.
There you go.
First reaction, delicious. Okay, that's it. I about ran into that person
I
behind me.
saw it. I was going to catch it all. Pokemon.
Gotta catch up.
You know
that's
it's
it.
my destiny.
Pokemon.
After I indulged in the food bar, of course, Monique and I had to take a look at the space. It really truly is one of the coolest bookish areas in a hotel. It was such a great idea and such a fun collab, and we had a great time exploring it.
Okay, but true.
They did end up giving us a cute little goodie bag, and after that, of course, we had to spend more time with Hannah and her partner. We ended up going to a nice little Korean fusion spot close to our house, and then got ice cream afterwards at this really kind of like bougie ice cream place where they do like rolled ice cream. It's just a fun time. The next day, we ended up doing like a bookish meetup with a few other bookish buddies online. It was so much fun. We went to a brewery, we got carne asada fries, and we just hung out and had a good time. It was just fun. The next big thing in October for me and Monique is that we watched the second VHS movie. We're in a horror movie club, and it was just so much fun to get together with friends and watch this stupid franchise. Then after that, of course, we ended up going to a James Blake concert. It was so random, but Monique and I really love James Blake, and it was so much fun to kind of see him live. We went to the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, saw a bunch of, obviously, mausoleums and stuff, and ended up just having a really great time. I've never seen him in concert. I'm not sure if Monique has, but it was just a really fun like way to kind of end the spooky month. And of course, like it was in a cemetery, so vibes. Anyway, that's what we did in October. It was a lot of fun. And I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of like new B-roll technique. It's more of a short form content type of voiceover deal, but I'm having a lot of fun with it this month, and I think I'm going to continue for the foreseeable future. If you guys actually like this style of B-roll footage, throw a heart down in the comments for me. And that's pretty much it. That was October. Okay. Wow. I told you guys I was going to find this shirt. I told you. And I found it. I don't know if we can even see it. And no, we can't. That's fine. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. But if you're dead. Okay, so officially I have finished the Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. And I have to say that this one was really freaking good. I feel like if you are into cold cases, it's not necessarily as stuffy as like watching a documentary of cold cases, but it was so much freaking fun. It had a little tiny paranormal element, but it was not that big, if that makes sense. So if that kind of puts you off, then this will not be anything like Jane Lawrence, I think. Even though low-key they kind of have like the same premise of sorts. It's like something's happening in this house you don't know. Like, is there murder? Is it something deeper than that? You know, what's going on? But essentially in the Book of Cold Cases, y'all already know it happened in a small town. Someone died. We had a serial killer who is a female, which in the 70s, that was pretty much uncalled for. So I don't know. I just really enjoyed this one. I liked the twist. I feel like once the twist was out, it was a little bit of a struggle to kind of like get to the end, and not struggle, but maybe like it took a little bit of time, but I liked how it was wrapped up. And strangely, like the relationship between the characters, like the main characters of our serial killer and our like main kind of like blogger, like, was really fun. I really liked it because obviously, like, if you have a serial killer, you would think like, oh yeah, this person is super evil the whole entire time, right? But I don't know, it just worked for this book and I really liked it. I liked the plot setup, I liked the relationship between the characters and the little sprinkle of romance. I was like, okay, Michael, stop being cute and smart for once. Anyway, I really liked it. Also, I liked the tie-in of our like blogger's past and how that affected her mentality going forward, like why she was the way she was, why she was so interested in cold cases and kind of like death and things like that. Like, I really enjoyed that. I thought it was a fun time. And just the atmosphere of the house in this one, like I could just really feel it. I don't know, it was crazy, y'all. It was crazy. I really felt like I was in Oregon for this one. So I really enjoyed it. Like I said, if you are into cold cases, into a little murder investigation, into a slightly paranormal haunted house, like just a sprinkle, like, is it or is it not? You know, you'll have to read the book to find out. But I really, really enjoyed this one. And overall, I can't wait to get into the caw pile of this round of Battle of the Books. I feel like it's going to be so close for this one because I enjoyed all of these books. Like, there was not really a book that I was like, wah, wah, wah. So it'll be interesting to see who wins, though I do think I already know who it's gonna be. But let's go through the call pile and we'll find out. Okay, here we go. Okay, so going into this one, the death of Jane Lawrence, who I wanted to call Jennifer Lawrence this whole entire vlog, but the death of Jane Lawrence, let's talk about it. So the characters in this one, I gave an 8 out of 10. I liked the characters. Were they my favorites? No, but I liked Jane. I liked how analytical she was. I liked how she started out the whole entire book being like, I've got to get married and these are the steps I need to take to do that. Like, she was very like, let's cut a deal. And then suddenly found a relationship that she was shocked and surprised by. Like, I love this girl, okay? Now, did she make some questionable decisions down the road? Did she, you know, possibly like endanger her own life? Yes. Okay, her husband, questionable. That's why we're giving it an 8 out of 10. The atmosphere in this one is gonna be a 9 out of 10. Like, I just really liked this setting, okay? We're in what I'm assuming is like, what did I say earlier? Was it like 1800s London? Something like that. We have this girl who's trying to get married so that she can, you know, relieve her foster parents of, you know, their obligation to take care of her. And then she somehow finds herself in this like haunted house, witchy, culty situation. Okay, I just really like the atmosphere. 9 out of 10. You know, if you're into that kind of like Sherlock Holmes vibe, okay, imagine Sherlock Holmes time period but witches and cults. Okay, that's the atmosphere of this book. The writing is going to be a 9 out of 10. It wasn't necessarily like the plot of the century. Like, I don't even know if like this would have piqued my interest if I had read it on the shelf, but the writing is what kept me going. Okay, I wanted to know what was going on. And I think the way that everything comes together in the end, where you're just like, is Jane Lawrence dead? I feel like I want to talk about this book with people who have read it because I have so many questions. I have so many questions by the end of it. And I really, that whole last bit of it, I'm like, was that a fever dream? Did I actually have a fever during the 1800s and transport my brain to this time period? Like, that's what I kind of felt like. So it's going to be a 9 out of 10. The plot is going to be an 8.5. Like I said, it wasn't a plot that I don't know if I would have picked this up off the shelf. Like, I remember being interested in this when it came out, but obviously it wasn't, you know, piquing my interest enough for me to grab it off the shelf and read it immediately. But as I was reading it, I was intrigued, okay? And I like the plot. I like the twists. 8.5 out of 10. Very just like a mind F, you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, what am I reading? So I can totally see when like Robin said that people thought it was gonna be something and it actually ended up not being that thing. I can see why people would be upset, okay? Because if I had invested in this book the way that I bet other people who like this genre did, I can see why they would be mad. I can see why they would be mad. But it's getting an 8.5 for me because I loved it. All right, intrigue is going to be a 7.5 out of 10, and let me tell you why, okay? The intrigue for this one is a 7.5 because there was a point at which I was obsessed with this book. I told y'all, I got to the 50%. I was really, really into it. And then after the 50, suddenly I was like, this is a different book. Okay, this is a different book. And this kind of goes hand in hand with the plot. Some things were happening and I was like, I don't know if I like this. What's going on? So the intrigue is going to be a 7.5. I did want to finish the book and figure out what was going on, but I wasn't as excited as that first part, okay? And that's why it's going to be a little bit lower of a score. The logic and relationships in this one is going to get an 8 out of 10. Like, I thought logically everything made sense, okay? Even in the end, when, like, there's all that stuff going on at the very, very end, it's confusing, okay? It's confusing. But it's a good time. It's a good time. And I feel like the relationships really came through in the end. Like, it was just, that plot point was really crazy, okay? That plot point was really crazy. And with, I can't really say even what it is, okay? You're just gonna have to trust me on this one. It's an 8 out of a 10. Overall enjoyment is also gonna be an 8 out of a 10, okay? It was a good time, and I feel like I really liked it, okay? I feel like I really liked it. Moving on. So now we're gonna go into maeve fly. This one I'm still thinking about, okay? And I don't know if that means that I like it or not. If it was the best one out of this bunch, I'm not sure. It's really gonna come down to the call pile in this one. But let's go into, you know, how I feel about this book. Okay, so the characters is going to be an 8.5 out of 10. I really liked the character, like our main character. Like, she was giving what I told y'all, American freaking Psycho. Okay, she is giving Patrick Bateman, but like feminist. And I didn't really like her per se. Like, okay, she's crazy for sure. She is psycho. But like, I like how she was written, okay? So the characters are getting 8.5. The writing, though, is getting a 9.5 out of 10, all right? And that's on writing, that's on plot, that's on atmosphere. Like, the whole entire thing, let me not skip forward, but like the atmosphere in this one, 9 out of 10. Okay, it's set in LA. We've got this serial killer who is just like over it. Like, I imagine this is what a burnt out actor would be like. Like, they literally are just like, I have no purpose. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm just gonna start killing people. That's of course not as simple as who Maeve is, but like, that's how I imagine the atmosphere of this book, okay? The atmosphere and like the setup of the plot. I thought there were so many good quotes in this one. Like, ooh, Maeve had people's numbers, y'all. She had people's numbers. And I really like how in this plot we got the history of kind of like what was going on at the time, okay? Now, I'll give y'all a comparison. If y'all have ever read Malibu Rising, okay, it's almost like that kind of old Hollywood vibe, if that makes sense, without it being like real old Hollywood vibe. You know what I mean? Like, it's not historical fiction, but it feels like it because you're getting all this information in the plot with our main character, you know, going around and like killing people, okay? So the writing is a 9.5. That goes hand in hand with the intrigue, which is a 9.5. Like, I wanted to know what was going on in this book. I read it literally all in one night and then like almost finished it and then finished it the next morning, okay? So like, obviously I wanted to know what was going on. I sped through this book and had a really great time with it. Now, logic and relationships, I do think the ending of this one is tragic. And I just, oh my God, Maeve, you did it to yourself, girl. You really did it to yourself. It doesn't make sense why you did that. You know what I'm saying? But that's what happens when you're dealing with a psycho, okay? You're dealing with a psycho killer. And I really feel for her. The logic and relationships is an 8.5. Like, that ending though was psycho. That ending was so crazy. It's just really like the fact that they found each other and she's just cuckoo bananas and this guy is just going with it. I'm like, bless your little heart, you little idiot. Anyway, enjoyment is a 9.5 out of 10. I told you I'm still thinking about this book to this day. And that's on that. Okay, so let's move into the Book of Cold Cases. The characters in this one are a 9 out of 10. I think every single character in this book had a purpose, had something going on, and they were written incredibly well. The atmosphere is going to be a 9.5 out of 10. I loved this atmosphere, like going into this small town where these murders have happened, and usually the murders are solved. But in this one, they've got a cold case, and that cold case hasn't been solved for 40 years. That's crazy. That atmosphere, that plot, the premise, very, very interesting, okay? And I love that our main character is just this regular Joe Blow working in a doctor's office, and she writes these cold case like analysis on the side, right? So she has this hobby, and that is the plot premise, that's the plot setup. And I just thought the atmosphere was great. The writing, 9.5, okay? It's going hand in hand with the intrigue, 9.5. I loved it, okay? I couldn't put it down. I loved it so much, and I wanted to know what was going on. Now, the plot is going to be getting an 8.5 out of 10, and that is because once some things were revealed, okay, I was like, all right, are we dragging our feet, or what's going on? You know what I mean? But overall, I really enjoyed it and thought it was a good time. I thought the logic and relationships was really interesting, okay? It's just so crazy and twisted. Like, you can think you have somebody pegged, and then all of a sudden they do something. They do something so unexpected. Okay, so the logic in relationships is going to be a 9 out of 10. And then the overall enjoyment is going to be a 9 out of 10. Because I feel like it was a really good time. Okay, I don't even read cold cases, like, at all. I'm not that girl. I know that there are some people that go down the docuseries a rabbit hole. They just know everything about every cold case that's ever happened. They're all right to me. But I feel like this was an interesting way of doing it in the form of a book where you've got someone who is interested in this cold case and she's reporting on it, okay? And it wasn't just like a boring documentary, okay? You get what I'm saying? Not saying that like those cold cases are boring, but like it wasn't just interviews and things like that. Like it was just woven so well together. And I feel like that speaks to the writing of this book, which is also why it gets a 9.5 out of 10. Now, I have not calculated these, so I don't even know who the winner is. So let me do that really quick. I'll come back in just a second. Oh my God, this is literally insane. Okay, so Jane Lawrence got a 4.5, okay? Out of 10, it's an 8.28 out of 10. Okay, so that's a 4.5. Great score. Okay, and I really truly believe that this was my cup of tea because I do love Regency things. I do love Sherlock Holmes, Pride and Prejudice. Obviously, these are different time periods, but it's all kind of like in the same vein. Okay, I like that setting. I like that. And also, I think the witchy vibes really came through in this one. Now, when it comes to Maeve and the Book of Cold Cases, y'all, they both got 5 stars and they are off by 0.05, okay? 0.05. So the winner of this round is the Book of Cold Cases, and that's truly because it got a sliver more. It got a sliver more in atmosphere, and it got a sliver more in logic and relationships between like the characters and like logically what's happening in the book. And that's crazy because honestly, like they got the same scores in characters, they got the same scores in plot, and like we all know that those weigh heavier for me when it comes to the cop-out. They also got the same scores with writing, intrigue, and then Maeve actually got a little bit more in the enjoyment, like by 0.5, but because Book of Cold Cases got like 0.5 more in the other two categories, that boosted it up by 0.05 of a point. Overall, Maeve shocked me. It was crazy. I'm still thinking about it to this day, and it is a 5-star read, but with everything going together like as a whole for the book of Cold Cases is the winner of this round, and that is because everything just went simpatico together, okay? That's crazy, y'all. I thought Maeve was gonna win. I really did. I said, Maeve, you are a psycho killer. And honestly, I'm gonna be recommending that book to anyone who is wanting shock factor, who's wanting wow factor, okay? Y'all already know my Jane Lawrence peeps. Y'all already know who you are and if you will enjoy that book, the witchy vibes, the culty vibes. Like if y'all want it, that's what you get with that book. And then of course the Book of Cold Cases is in and of itself a murder mystery, a haunted house, a cold case killer. If that's your vibe, then Book of Cold Cases is going to be for you. And honestly, the characters in all of these were really great. I really loved them. But of course, our winner for this round is Miss Sydney Books from TikTok, y'all. So congratulations, Miss Sydney Books. You got another point for TikTok, and this is crazy chaotic. What is even going on right now? This series really is so crazy. Like the fact that literally we have this as our final scores, y'all, I'm shook. I'm shook. I'm in shock. I'm in disbelief. I swear I'm not doing this on purpose. This is really freaking crazy, y'all. Like, oh my God. Will we know who's gonna win? We have 2 more months of Battle of the Books, and I am so excited to get into the rest of this series. Like, I cannot wait to see who is gonna win eventually. I'm sweating, y'all. Oh, lordy. Okay, so that is the end of our October Battle of the Books. I hope that y'all had a fun, creepy, kooky time. If you're not already following all of these amazing creators, please go ahead and follow them right now. Obviously, they give great recs because this was a 4 to 5 star round. Check out the links below to check out their pages. A lot of them have Patreons and merch that is just really so creative. They do a lot of extra credit things online. So please, please, please check them out, especially if you're into the spoopy vibes. Like if that is your thing, you need to be following all of these lovely, lovely creators. Okay guys, so that is another round of Battle of the Books. Thank you so much for joining me on this round. I literally am just, like I said, shook. Like I cannot believe that we are here. We have 2 more months left of Battle of the Books. Who is gonna win? I'm so freaking excited and also nervous. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. As always, like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell if you want more videos like this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!
Bum bum da 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 bum bum da.